All right, we are live. What is up, Godox fan? Excuse me. I'm a little bit nervous. It's been a while since I live streamed. So, what's going on, guys? Josh here from Momentum Productions. Wow! I can't believe I'm on the Godox official YouTube page now doing a live stream. This is awesome. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to have you guys here. So, forgive me if I keep looking down. I have my computer right here, but yeah, welcome. Today we're talking all about Godox lights, specifically the M600D, 600X, excuse me, actually 740 watts of continuous power. This thing is an absolute beast. So when Godox reached out and said they want to collaborate, I was just screaming. I was so excited to actually test out this light. So in today's live stream, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things. For example, specifically how I lit up a bunch of car commercials for Rezvani Motors. My main source of light is coming from the M600D, the no-LED M600D. And yeah, I can't wait to talk to you guys about that. So yeah, let's go ahead and wait for a few more people to tune on in. Meanwhile, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I know, right? Just in case you guys don't know who I am, I'm Josh, born and raised in Los Angeles. I still live in Los Angeles. I started off as, just a dude with a camera. And I started off filming a lot of lifestyle videos. I was working with dating advice coach, a life advice coach, and I was shooting a lot of videos for that person. And during that time, I really didn't know a lot about lighting. I knew a little bit about cameras, not too much. But as soon as I start getting really addicted to filming, I was like, okay, what else is there? What more can I get? What other equipment is out there? And then I just started snatching up a bunch of equipment, lights, gimbals, tripods, anything that just, I thought I needed. So yeah, fast forward a couple of years later, on my side hustle, I was working on my YouTube game, creating a YouTube channel. I first started off with creating a bunch of tutorials on gimbals. And then I started transitioning over to sliders and then lighting equipment. And now I just have a bunch of equipment that I just love to share knowledge on. So right now, I want to tell you a little bit about my setup that I'm shooting with right now. What's lighting me? I can't really turn the camera because the camera's far away from me. But what's lighting me right now is a softbox from Godox, a large softbox with two different layers of diffusion, and the UL150. The UL150 is an absolutely incredible light. And they just released a Mark II version of the UL150, which comes with an updated ballast, which gives you a bunch of cool lighting effects like lightning and so forth. So I really like that. But what's really unique about the UL150 is that it has no fan. It basically looks like a cylindrical block of cheese because there's so many holes in there for hot air to escape. So there's no fan, and it's just 150 watts of power, absolutely silent. And yeah, I use that light constantly. And then back here, I don't know if you guys can see it, we have a Laufas softbox. Attached to that is a Godox UL60. So 60 watts UL, which means it's ultra silent, no fan in there as well. Back here, we have a TL60. It's one of Godox's tube lights, really fun light to use. And then I just have some cases on this desk here. And then back here, we have the M600D along with their Fresnel, which is just wow. Okay, so really quick, I want to see who's in on the live. What's up, everybody? Cool. All right. Jan, how you doing? HR Films, what's up? Guys, constantly, I'm going to be looking at the chat, so if you have any questions, let me know. It's been a while since I did a live stream. I'm trying to get my foot back in the game, so let's see if I got it, all right? So I'm sorry if I seem a little on edge. I'm just really excited to be doing this live stream with you guys today. Okay, so one of my first big clients is that I've been working with them for a couple of years now. They're called Rezvani Motors. You can Google them. You can go on their YouTube page. They make ballistic armor vehicles, specifically the tank and the Hercules. I'm sure that if you just go on YouTube, type it in, you've seen some of their cars around town. I mean, they're pretty noticeable cars. And I've been working with the CEO of that company, really cool dude. And we just started collaborating a couple of years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago. We started shooting together. He has a bunch of cool designs for cars. And this year he started hitting YouTube pretty hard. Like, he wants to start making a lot of content with his cars. So we started working together, and we're starting to actually make some tutorials on how to, access some of the cool features of the cars, because there's just a lot in that car. And when you're filming a car, lighting is everything. And we're gonna have a look. I had some issues with StreamYard a second ago, sharing my Final Cut window. So I'm gonna just try and show you bits and clips of the actual video that I shot without using Final Cut. I also have a PowerPoint that we're gonna go through. And the Godox M600D was my key light. It just provided so much power. And here's the thing, Rizvani created a car called the Hercules 6x6. This is a huge car. It's a six-wheeler, a 6x6 car. We're going to be talking about, I'm going to be showing you that car in just a moment. And I'm going to show you how I use the M600D, how I lit that car with just that light. Also, we're going to dive deep, not dive too deep, but we're going to talk about the TL30s. These lights, these little guys right here, freaking phenomenal, because they're so tiny, they output a ton of power, and they can literally be stuck onto anything that's metal, that's magnetized. And I use that for some of the Rizvani videos as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to go into the PowerPoint. I'm going to show you some cool slides, some cool images, and then we're going to hopefully get this video started. We're not going to have any audio or anything like that, but I just want to show you how the video came out, and you guys can judge me on my lighting if you like, but don't be too harsh. But what's up, Jose from Mexico City? What's going on, man? Okay, all right, so here we go. Let's see here. All right, we're all loaded up here. Very cool. So I'm going to jump to my PowerPoint here, guys. All right, we talked about me. All right, there I am with a 70-200 lens. All right, next slide. Features of the NOLED M600D. When I'm looking at a powerful light, or just a light in general, these are the biggest things that I'm looking for. Okay, portability. I'm rarely always shooting at my house. When a client hires me, I got to drive to them, especially if they have a huge car that they want me to film. I drive to them. They usually have a studio or some kind of showcase room that they want me to light up and shoot at. So I got to go to them. Rizvani Motors, they're headquartered about 2 hours from me. So I got to pack up a lot of lights. I got to drive all the way over to them, set everything up. I'm a one-man band. I have nobody helping me. So it takes a lot. And I need a light that is, one, easy to set up, can fit in my car, obviously. Hopefully a light can fit in your car. Has a ton of power, is silent, can be used in many different ways. And sometimes, and this is what I put in the smallest effects here, smallest bubble here, is the effects. Effects aren't that important to me, simply because I'm not a special effects lighting kind of guy, but sometimes I do need that. It's a nice little added bonus. It's that cherry on top that everybody likes. So that's why I put it in the smallest bubble here. But light output and light quality, I would say, are the biggest things for me when it comes down to picking out a light. And the M600D here, guys, it's 97% accurate. CRI, color rendering index, it scored a 97 here. So that's a flat out A, guys. That's an A rating. So it's a dependable light. I've had it for months already. It's dead silent. It has 2 fans, one in the ballast, one in the body of the light. And it just, it's beautiful. Never had any issues with it. Also, the light is flicker free. Okay, and I'm going to actually grab the light. It's right behind me. I'm going to bring it up close. We're going to have a closer look at what this light can do. All right, let's go back. We will, yeah, we'll go and answer those. So I'm checking the YouTube chat here. Okay, cool. We're doing well. We're doing well, guys. All right, so let's go back to the PowerPoint here. Let's go to the first slide. So for those of you who don't know, this is the Rezvani tank, ballistic armor vehicle. It has bulletproof tires, bulletproof radiator, uh, it's the bulletproof windows. It's just an insanely cool car, and it was an absolute honor to be shooting for Rezvani. So we had a little, not a little, it was actually a fairly large studio, all white walls. We had one huge softbox overhead. So one huge softbox overhead. It provided a nice ambient light, but it wasn't good enough to actually shoot the car dead on. So as you can see here, the light did not provide enough power, or did not provide enough light. So I had to bring the M600D to actually shoot the profile shot of this car. Now, it doesn't look like much now, but when I show you bits and pieces of the actual video, you're going to see what I'm talking about and how I was able to really use that M600D. I'm going to be saying M600D a lot in this live stream, so stay tuned. Okay, so here are the things that I really needed to focus on. This is what the CEO of Rezvani wanted me to focus on. He really wanted me to focus on the color of the car, the interior of the car. As you can see, we have a beautiful white interior. Now, white, having an accurate white balance and accurate white in general is so important, guys. This is straight out of the camera. These two images, straight out of the camera. If you have an improperly, not a properly balanced light with white balance, if you have a slightly more orange or slightly more blue light, I mean, you're not going to get images like this. This light, 5600 degree Kelvin, boom, nailed it. Daylight, beautiful, natural colors. This is exactly how I saw the car with my own eyes. So it was actually a pleasure to be editing something like this and knowing that the colors were true. I've had a few nightmares back in the day where, color correction was my absolute best friend, but even then I couldn't save the footage. So it's really important to have accurate lighting, guys. So that's why Godox is my #1 brand. I always, whenever I shoot YouTube videos, I just go right to Godox. So yeah, so here are some images, light output and throw. There were times where I needed to have a lot more light output. I needed to push the light far back away from the car and blast with a ton of power because I needed the space. I needed the dimension in the shots. So obviously I had a really large softbox, really large. It was like a 4.5 foot wide softbox. So, and I had the NOLED at 70% dim or 70% power. I didn't even use it all the way because it was just too powerful. And it lit up the whole car beautifully. So you can see the lighting on both of these shots right here. We have the exterior shot. We have a slight interior shot here. And yeah, and you can see that the light even lit up the back. See these back seats here? So the Rezvani tank doesn't have a moonroof. So no light is getting in from that overhead softbox that I was mentioning earlier. So keep that in mind. All of this lighting from these back lights here is just coming from one light, M600D. Okay. All right, so let's talk about some of the specs. I already mentioned that the M600D is set to 5600 degree Kelvin. Obviously, there's a plus and minus to this. There's always deviations, by maybe 100 degrees or so. But overall, 5600 degree Kelvin is what these lights are ranked at. 15,000 lux, over 15,000 lux of power, of brightness at about 10 feet with the reflector. So it's pretty incredible. As I mentioned before, flicker free. So you can shoot at 1/2000th shutter speed. Zero flicker. And when we say 0 to 100% dimming, we can actually do fractions of a percent. So we can start at 0.1%, 0.2%, 0.3%. You can get really nice dialed in dims here, guys, or dialed in brightness levels. Obviously, this light is an advanced light, so it's going to have DMX compatibility, Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz antenna for wireless control. You can control it via the Godox remote or Godox app. Their app is very good, and it works not only with just one light at a time, but you can hook it up. You can use it as basically a DMX board. You can hook it up to a bunch of different lights that have that 2.4 gigahertz radio. So, you know, the TL30s, M600D, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have the UL150 Mark II, but I think the Mark II is going to have that capability as well to connect via the app. So really important there. Also, the M600D can be powered by V-mount batteries. Right now I have it hooked up to a power bank, an Anker power bank, so it's getting power out of there. But V-mount batteries, what's really interesting is that you do have to make sure that you're getting a proper V-mount battery. This is a high-powered light, 740 watts, guys. This is no joke. So you got to make sure that the voltages on the V-mount batteries match to the specs on the ballast. I don't remember the exact, I believe it's 22 volts that this ballast sucks up. So you got to make sure that your V-mount batteries match that voltage. I don't have any V-mount batteries that have that amount of voltage. I have a 14 volt. I think that's the standard 14 volt for my V-mount batteries. So I end up taking my Anker power bank with me, and it powers up these lights really well. All right. Let's talk a little bit about cooling. Cooling is really important, guys. So I mentioned earlier that Peter, I will answer your question in just a moment, my friend. So yeah, let's talk about cooling. So with that amount of power, this light needs to be cooled, right? So not only does the light itself have to be cooled, but the ballast too. So the ballast has its own built-in fan. The body of the light has its own built-in fan, and you can see the size of this fan. It's not a small fan. I've had one instance when I was shooting, I was using a different light from another brand, and the fan just went dead. And I didn't notice. And then I started noticing a smell, like something was burning, and it was just absolutely terrifying. I've never had that happen with a Godox light. Because Godox, you know, this is a legit brand, and I've been using their lights. My first Godox light was the SL60W. That was like $130 light. I think they still make it, but that was my first light that I ever used from Godox. I gave it to my brother. My brother is using it now, but yeah, I've had it for 6-7 years already. That long? Yeah, something like that. Five years, and no problems. And that's Godox, one of Godox's cheapest lights. So I never had any issues with the fans cutting out. And this light is equipped with temperature alarms. So if the fan for whatever reason stops working, the temperature alarm is going to go off. It's not going to sound any, you know, annoying sound. It's just going to shut off the light. So you're protected. It's going to prevent fires. All of these lights are becoming smart lights. So I'm really happy about that. Now, if we look at the lower right photo, you can see the control system on the ballast. We have a little LCD display giving us the ability to control effects. We have a ton of different effects on this light. You know, lightning, faulty bulb, TV simulator, all of these really cool things. And it's all selectable within this LCD screen. Really intuitive design. And if you could just take a quick little peek at the size of the cables here, guys. Look at the size of the cables. Really thick cables meant for a significant amount of power draw. If you use cheap, thin cables, odds are it's going to get too hot. It's going to melt the wires. And you're going to have yourself a fire. So it's really nice to have high quality cables in such a powerful light. I want to go ahead and start showing you some video of the car. I'm going to try and see if I can get this to work, guys. Give me 1 second here. All right, we're back to me. Hello. All right, so we're going to go to share screen. Cool. Let's see if I can get to QuickTime Player. Hopefully you guys see that. Please tell me. Uh-oh. Yeah, StreamYard's having an issue, guys. I really apologize about that. But if you'd like, you can just go to YouTube. You can go and type in the search window, Rizvani Motors, type in the Hercules 6x6 and the tank. If you see the camo version of the tank, like the camouflage version, I showed you some pictures of that earlier. That's the video that I shot. I've also done some content with the Hercules 6x6. And actually, let me show you some images of the 6x6. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint here, guys. Give me 1 second. StreamYard is always a funny thing to use. All right. Okay. All right, cool. We're going back to, yeah, we're going back to the PowerPoint here, guys. Peter, what's up, my man? Can I ask what shape is a softbox? It's a circular softbox. Technically not a box, but a circular, I think you know what I mean, a circular, an octabox, if you want to call it something like that. But yeah, it's a circular shape. Yeah, that's what I'm using right now. Cool. Right. Okay. So yeah, and if you have any other more questions, let me know. David, what's up, David? All right, I want to go ahead and bring in the M600D. I want to show you guys some close-ups of this light. So we're going to go back to the shot of me. I'm going to bring this light over here, guys. It is a little bit heavy, so cope with me. Watch me struggle with me bringing it over here. I just want to give you a live demo of what it can do. All right. And let me know, do you guys hear me okay? Hopefully you do. All right. Okay. So this light is pretty massive. All right, it's heavy, but it packs so much power. I'm going to go ahead and remove the ballast and show you the ballast on its own. So here's the ballast. Here's the controller. Let me actually flip it. Do you guys see it better that way? Is it reversed? So that's the controller. I want to see if I can flip the, let me know if that sound is excellent. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. Yeah, so here's the ballast. I'm sorry if I can't flip the camera around. This is all reversed, it looks like. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's all reversed. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, here's the controller or the ballast. Take a look at its size. It's massive, okay? It's basically, it's larger, it's longer than the light, as you can see. All right, but it's all metal, and you can see that we have V-mount compatibility on one side, and then you can attach another V-mount there. We also have a V-mount connector right here, and I have a V-mount adapter on this light stand. Now this light stand is falling apart. It's one of those cheaper Amazon light stands. I'm currently using my C stands right now for other lights, but I mean, as long as I'm not hoisting or putting up the light too high up, we're okay. But yeah, that's the quality. Can you hear the fan? There's a fan in there. All right, cool. So let me see what I can do here. I want to show you guys this light. Cope with me, cope with me. All right. Cool. All right, so here is the Godox M600D, guys. I'm sorry if everything looks reversed, but I'm going to go to the back of the camera here. I'm going to adjust it just a little bit. I just want to show you what this thing can do. It's really something pretty special. Okay. There we go. So this is our Godox M600D, guys. I do have the Fresnel attachment. So if you'd like, I can demo the light without the Fresnel or with the Fresnel. Obviously, with the Fresnel, you're going to get a ton more power out of this thing. Cool. And let me know if you guys would like to see anything specific about the light. But yeah, this is what we're working with. Let me loosen it up just a little bit so I can spin it around. Okay, that's one side. And this is the other side. I like the fact that the handbrake of the yoke is on one side. I want it to be that way. It's much more efficient, because if I just want to adjust the light, I loosen it up. I don't have to adjust both sides. I can just use that, and it's very smooth to adjust the tilt of the light. It's very smooth, as you can see. I want you to guess what dim I'm at. Well, I actually already showed you. It's 0.1% dim. Okay, so it's so powerful that I'm kind of scared to show you all of its power right now. So let me adjust the Fresnel a little bit. Cool. So right now, my camera settings are as follows. I'm shooting at f2.8, 320 ISO. All right, I just want to let those numbers go out to you right now and just have a look at the amount of power this light has. We're at 0.1% dim. Okay. You know what? I'm cheating a little bit. Let me remove the Fresnel, and I'm going to place, oops. I'm going to go ahead and place the standard reflector. Things are falling apart, guys. It's okay. All right. It's not the first time I've dropped lights, guys. That's why I'm looking for high quality lights. All right, we got the reflector. All right, I'm gonna fix this edge light here. Cool. Just don't fall on me again, please. That would hurt. All right, I'm gonna remove the Fresnel, guys. So it's a typical Bowens mount Fresnel. It's plastic on the sides and glass in the middle. All right, here's our standard reflector. 0.1% dim. Let's go to 1%. 1%. And I'm not using, you know, auto exposure or anything. So we're not getting any exposure compensation when you're looking at this light. Okay? Let's increase it to 10%. Okay, not bad. 20%. This is 20%. Let's go to 50. This is insane. This back wall right here, guys, is approximately 10 feet away from us. 10 feet away. All right, 75% dim right now. 75%, 100% dim. What happens when I attach the Fresnel to it? You guys want to see the brightness difference when I attach the Fresnel? So I'm going to remove the reflector. It gets very hot, guys, so I don't recommend changing accessories on the Bowens mount while the light is on. It's a little dangerous, but I'm just doing it to show you the difference between the Fresnel and the reflector. Okay. Did you guys spot the difference in light output? It's pretty significant. One click of the dial will shut off the light, bring it back down to 0% dim. I tap it again. It'll bring it to 100% dim. Okay. Is it too heavy for a one-man team? No, I'm a one-man team. I bring this light with me all the time, and I love it. I love it. It's heavy. It's heavy, guys. But if you just could feel the quality, like if you go to any camera store and they have this light in stock, ask them to demo it for you. You need a bigger boat. I mean, room. This light is what I've been looking for. Yeah, I do need a... And these walls, guys, I didn't tell you, the color of these walls it's a dark navy blue. And it's basically making them white right now. Just consider that as a little brightness factor for you, okay? I mean, it's absolutely insane. I mean, look what happens when I just turn this light. Like, it hurts. Like, do not look at this light dead on, guys. You got the power of the sun. So I'm going to bring it down to 1% dim. And with the Fresnel attachment, guys, you can also attach barn doors. So I'm going to show you the barn door kit. Okay, we're at 0.2% dim. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I can already feel the heat coming out of this light, guys. All right, let's bring the light here. Okay, nice. Yeah, that's looking pretty groovy. We have the barn door kit, guys. Look at the size of this thing. Look at the size of the barn doors. I won't even be able to fit it in the frame, but I'll just show you guys. I won't even put it on the light because it's so massive, but you can probably see, you know, what you can get out of it. But beautiful barn door kit, guys. It's aluminum, metal, and it comes with a little safety clip, so you can clip it onto the side of the light and it won't fall. But really nice. I love it. All right, let's see if we can answer any questions about this light, guys. Let me see here. Any questions, let me know. All right, we're doing good so far. No questions. All right, cool. All right, awesome. So one more thing I want to talk about. I don't want to mess up the cables here. I want to show you the thickness of these cables, guys, because if you're looking at a light and it has these thin, cheap cables, down the road, you're going to run into an issue. But just have a look. Like the thickness of these cables, it's pretty, like, you got to pay attention. If you're spending this much money on a light, guys, you got to pay attention to these little details here. The size of the cables matters. Heat coming off the cables matters, okay? There's no heat coming off these cables. So the heat management of these cables are fantastic. You know, thick cables is everything, guys. It can also control buzzing and noise and all of this other stuff. So when you're looking at a light, thick cables, power output, versatility, portability, light output. I mean, those are just really, really important things. And let's have a look at the aesthetics of the light. Aesthetics are very important. So if I just do a little loop around, you can see how good and clean this light looks. All right, let me flip. Sorry if I'm blinding you guys, but you can see the fan doing its thing right here. So what it's doing is it's pushing hot air out of the top of the light. It's sucking in cool air from the bottom and pushing out hot air from the top. I can feel it if I put my hand on top of the light. You can feel the hot air coming out. Next, I want to show you the size of the COB, or the chip on board, that's producing all of this light. So I'm going to turn off the light. I don't want to blind you guys. I'm going to remove the Fresnel. The Fresnel itself is pretty significantly heavy, guys. It's all glass except for the outside shell, which is plastic. All right, so this is the COB. Let's see if I can zoom in some more. That's probably all my zoom, huh? So this is the COB. All right, right now it's not hot, but obviously never touch this part of the light after you've been using it. It's going to get very hot. But right now it's relatively cool. We have an extra layer of protection here. This is a glass layer. Some manufacturers don't put this on their lights. If you damage the COB, that's a risk of fire, 1. 2, that's a risk of you killing your light. So I like the fact that they put an extra layer of glass over the COB. But have a look at the size of this COB, okay? That's my thumb. Have a look at the size of that chip. It's huge, absolutely massive. So that should give you kind of a, kind of an idea of how big that COB is. That's the M600D, guys. I mean, it's a beautiful light. Let me take it off completely. I'll show you actual close-ups of the light. There's the top. See that? Really good stuff. All right, I want to go back to some more car stuff with you guys. I want to show you how I've been using the TL30, which is actually, I have to reposition the camera. Excuse me, guys. I'm doing this all on my own, so I'm sorry if it's a little... All right, here we go. You can see my whole studio setup right here. Okay, cool. Let me get back over here. All right. Awesome. I can sort of live with this right now. Hi, greetings from Nicaragua. What's up, man? Martin, how you doing? Good to see you guys. All right. So let's go back over to the PowerPoint, and I want to show you how I lit up some scenes with the TL30. This little guy. I think to have a little light that you can just prop anywhere and light up the most difficult types of shots is just so important to have. So the fact that we have a magnetic edge and we could just stick it onto anything magnetic does a lot. All right, let's go back over to the PowerPoint. I'm going to scroll down to these two shots here. So a little bit about the TL30, guys. It's only about a foot. It's a foot, 180-degree beam angle. You have a custom color temperature range, 2700 to 6300, 27 being orange, 63 being cool white. RGB capability, CCT, as I mentioned earlier, hue saturation and intensity control, full gamut color mixing. You get all of these features in such a tiny light. I just love where technology is going. You have 13 tunable effects, dimming control 0 to 100. You don't get fractional dimming like we did on the M600 just because it's not nearly as powerful. So that's why we don't get fractional dimming on this light. And of course, there's a built-in battery, which gives you about an hour or so of runtime at full brightness. Now, these images to the right of all of these specs here, guys, were captured with a little bit of light coming from the M600D, but a lot of the light coming from the TL30s. I was using one TL30. If you look at the top image here, you can't really see where the TL30 is, but I put it off to the side. And I believe, yeah, I put one right under here, right over this tire, and it's metal, so it just attached directly over. And that's how we're getting this nice little shine of light to showcase this shock here. So I hid the TL30 right here, and then I had light coming off to the side here from the M600D. Here we're talking about the undercarriage of the car, and I have, as you can see, he's very well lit. That's because I have the TL30 propped up right above my head because I'm lying down on the floor right next to this. And I have the TL30 right above my head and angled to shine light on his face. So he's very well lit, even though you can't fit the M600D under the car. So the TL30 was my key light for this shot. And it was lighting up the background here and giving us a little bit of light on the floor as well. The dim of the light was about 50% or so when lighting up this shot. All right, so the TL30, let me show you guys a little bit about this light. We'll go back to me. TL30, TL30. I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous. Let me go down to 1% dim. Really pretty light. We have a little control panel on the back here. Let's see if we can get it in focus. There we go. Oh, it goes in and out of focus, but there we go. There's the control panel of the light. You have 3 buttons, a dial, and a little LCD screen, giving you battery life, color temperature. We even have a green magenta shifter. So that's something I'm seeing more and more on these types of lights. So green magenta shifter is really important. You're going to be using the green magenta shifter a lot more than you think, believe it or not, because depending on your shooting environment, you're going to have different hues, you're going to have different shades of colors, and to have that ability to adjust green and magenta, it's pretty awesome. The mode buttons, you know, we have hue, saturation, and intensity control, which is great. And yeah, we have different lighting effects. Like this one is candlelight. I mean, look what it does to my skin. It looks very accurate to candlelight. It does a little bit of red, a little bit of orange. And yeah, I like the way that looks. Peter, all right, let's answer some questions. I think it's time for a little bit of a Q&A. Peter, is the TL30 able to be remotely controlled? Yes, it is. It's able to be remotely controlled via the app or Godox's remote. I think I have the remote somewhere here. My studio is a little bit of a mess because I've been preparing for this live stream. But yeah, the remote is somewhere around here. Yes, all of the newer Godox lights can be controlled wirelessly now. Everything should be done wirelessly. I personally like using a remote, but because Godox is able to release different lighting effects via the app, that's becoming more and more useful too. Yeah, cool. So yeah, guys, that's the TL30. That's the M600D. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll open up the last 10 minutes of the stream to questions. Please make these lights affordable in South Africa. I mean, this light right now is only about 80 bucks, the TL30. M600D, if you compare it to its competitors, you're not going to get 740 watts of power out of any other competitor for that price. 740 watts. I like how they call it a 600D, but it's a 740 watt light. So they give you 140 watts of extra lighting power out of this light. Yeah. And it's just, it's beautiful. Also, the cases that come with the Fresnel, and let's have a look at the case. So you don't have to worry about protecting this light. It comes with its own case, which is very important. I wish more lighting companies did this, but hopefully I don't drop any more of my other lights, guys. I constantly change things around in this room, so I'm not surprised if I have lights randomly drop. So here's the case for the M600D. It's a really nice rolling case. It fits everything that you need for the M600D. So if I open it up, hopefully nothing will fall out, but let's see here. It's very well padded. You know, everything is right there. You have multiple compartments. You have a little netted compartment at the top here where you can put some power cables or, I don't know, memory cards for your camera. Anything you really need. It's a very impressive case. It also has these little lid holders, so this thing's not going to just flop open and fall over. So that's a nice little added touch there. And it's a rolling bag too, so you get wheels on the bottom, so you don't have to worry about holding it because it is a heavy light. And you also have a little business card holder at the top of the bag too. And then we have the Fresnel attachment bag, which is a very similar style type of carrying bag. It's the same, you know, color, the nice stitching logo. It's very well padded. I mean, you're talking about glass on this Fresnel. And by the way, let me give you a close-up of the Fresnel because I think that's very important. Here's a Fresnel. It also gets quite hot, so be careful not to touch it right away after you use the light. So this area here is plastic. It doesn't need to be metal or glass, just doesn't need to. There's no purpose. Again, weight is very important. It's not very lightweight because it does have very thick glass on it, but if this was all metal, it'd be way heavier. But I have no complaints with the build quality of this thing. And this is the FL S10, okay? And then will I be able to turn it if it's not attached? Hang on. Yeah, so if I hold it like this, you can see how the Fresnel extends out. You can see the measure right here, what angle, what beam angle you're getting. And then you can shorten it up like that. And that's the Fresnel, guys. Yeah, Peter, thank you so much, man. Yeah, so let's go ahead and open this up to some questions, everybody, because I know this light is, it's a special light. It's not something I would recommend you say get for a simple talking head video. This is something, you know, if you need to replicate the power of the sun, if you need to light up cars, if you just need that power, this is it, guys. You can go and compare prices. Look at the price of this light, compare it to other lights. You'll see the difference and how much power. I made a review on this light on my YouTube channel. If you want, you can check it out. I go way more in depth on this light. And you can see some more demo footage and all of that stuff and how I used it with Rezvani motors. It's quite a shame that for some reason StreamYard is not allowed. It worked during my test, but I go live and it's not letting me showcase any of the videos for you. I'm going to try one more time. Maybe I can show you my Final Cut project. Let me see if that works. I really want to show you the footage. But again, after this live stream is over, you can also just go to the Rezvani YouTube channel, type in or just search for the thumbnail of the Rezvani Tank Camo Edition and the Hercules 6x6. There's a few videos that I shot with them. Not all of it is shot by me, but the Camo Edition tank was shot by me for sure. There's only 1 or 2 videos on that. And then the Hercules 6x6, a few of those videos were shot by me as well using the M600D. Bryce says, peace, late to the video, wanted to buy this light. They came out with a bicolor version. Yes, they did. Have you gotten to try that out any? Is it as bright as the daylight version? So here's the thing with bicolor. I haven't tried out the bicolor version. But usually with a bicolor versus a daylight or just a fixed color temperature, usually what happens is that they split the power between daylight and tungsten. I don't know if that's what they did with the bicolor version. I have to look more into it. Hopefully I get a chance to try it. But that's usually what happens with bicolored lights, is that it splits the power into 2. So a 740 watt light becomes a 370 watt light for one color temperature and then the other color temperature. So I hope that makes sense. So usually they just split the power in half. But yeah, I know for a fact that daylight lights are way more powerful than bicolor lights because there's no power splitting there. But maybe technology has changed. So if I get a chance to work with this bicolor M600, I'll let you know. Good question. So Godox is here. They're saying, yes, we did have the bicolor version and we'll have it on the live stream, talk more about it in the future. Yes. So I do really like where technology is going for these lights, guys. I remember when I got my first Godox light, which was the SL60W. You know, this was a 60 watt light. This is when Godox was first entering the video field. And then fast forward 5 years later, they come out with this beast of the M600. So technology is moving at such an exceptionally fast rate. And we are now looking at an era where it's not just a light. These lights now have their own little chips and computers inside, and these are becoming smart lights, guys. They're going to start thinking for us. So I'm really impressed with the M600D, guys. I mean, this is the package. This is it. You get the power of the sun. I'm holding the power of the sun, and It's just an extremely impressive light. So that is the stream, my friends. I really hope that I did a good job of demoing some of the features of both the TL30 and the M600D. StreamYard wasn't working that well during the stream. Hopefully for the next stream, I can actually show you the videos that I shot with it. But again, you can just check out Rizvani Motors' YouTube channel. I shot the content for the Camo Tank Edition, and you can see how well this light performed. And always, you can always DM me on YouTube as well, or email me. I can answer more questions about the Godox M600D, the UL150, UL60, TL30s, TL60s, TL120. I mean, the list goes on and on. Godox has a light for any occasion. So it's really cool to see how Godox has changed over just the last 5 years. Yeah, can I ask, Peter's asking, can I ask a summary of how you see the journey of light tech over the career? I've come from studio location with 4K incandescent. Yeah, okay, so it amazes me. Yeah, possible, especially running solo. Yeah, so as I mentioned, you know, the technology of these lights, guys, they're becoming smarter and smarter. I remember, you know, the SL60W was just a power switch and a dimmer. Now it's just so much more. Especially with DMX compatibility, you can really program these lights to do whatever you want them to do. And with Godox's, you know, RGB colored lights with the color picker, like you can select a color and replicate that color right onto the light. So yeah, the technology is advancing extremely fast. What I think is next for Godox is an RGB version of this. I think that's the future. I think I have one similar RGB light, the names, I keep forgetting it, the SZ150. The SZ150 is another special light that Godox makes. It's an RGB 150 watt light. They made that version. I'm waiting for them to make a 600 RGB version of that light. And then it's just, that's the future. RGB is taking over. These powerful lights are taking over, and I'm just extremely excited to see what's going on. So really thankful. You know, R&D department at Godox is really good. I constantly talk with them, and they're doing constantly new things. So really excited. No warranty, no buy. No, there's 1 year warranty if you buy through the appropriate dealer. Typical, you know, one year warranty. Like I mentioned, I still have the SL60W, and it's working beautifully. My brother has that light right now. I mean, if you look at my studio, guys, I have Godox all over. Like, look at this. I have an ML30 buy right here. Like, I have Godox lights all over my studio. It's. And by the way, let me show you the COB difference. Hang on, can I remove this? There we go. Look at how tiny this COB is on the ML30 buy. And you can see that it's bi. You can see tungsten. You can see the COB has split between orange and yellow. So that's a bicolored light versus a non-bicolor. You see one solid color on the COB. See that? And just look at the difference between this massive light and this little ML30. You see the COB difference? Yeah, really cool. And by the way, the ML30 buy is also a very special light because it's handheld. It's a handheld light. I wasn't really supposed to talk about the ML30 buy, but I think it's just a very special light. I mean, it's handheld. Look at that. You put 2 MPF Sony batteries in here, and boom, you're good. And it's also light stand compatible, so you just put it on a light stand. I'm sorry if I keep looking down. I'm just checking the frame. But yeah, that's what it is, guys. Any more questions? Yeah, cool. All right, guys. So that is the ML600. M600D or M600D, excuse me, and the TL30 right here. We got our good old TL60 right over there. UL60 right there. UL150 lighting me up. And then we have the ML, or excuse me, it is the names, the ML30 by. That's what happens when you have a bunch of lights, you forget the names a lot. So ML30 by right here. Very clear present. I'm so glad that you thought it was a clear presentation because there's just so many things were going on, guys. It's been a while for me doing a live stream, so I'm happy to be back doing these things. It's really exciting for me to showcase these new products for you guys. As I mentioned before, I've been working with Godox products for the last 5 years, so I'm so honored to be here and doing this live stream. But yeah, let's take any more, last minute questions. We have like 3 or so minutes left. If you want to talk about any other Godox lights, let me know. I currently have the TL30, TL60, TL120, SZ150, which is the RGB 150 watt light, UL60, UL150, M600D, and I have an RGB light panel from them. I don't want to get the name wrong, but I think it's the LDR 150. I believe that's the name. As you can see, remembering all the names is a little confusing at times. But yeah, I have a bunch of Godox lights. They're my numero uno, and I really like what they're doing. Thank you, Godox, again for having me here. Yeah, guys, 2 more minutes for questions. Let me know. It was just, yeah, it just went by really fast. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, guys, the future is RGB and more powerful daylight lights. I think Godox is, out of all the companies, I think that Godox has the most wide variety of lights. They don't only do video lights, but they do flash photography lights. I mean, it's crazy to see how that company has grown. And yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. Again, if you have any other questions, you can always DM me and email me. You can talk to Godox as well. They're very good with keeping up with emails. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope that I wasn't stuttering too much, and I hope that you guys learned something about these products. And yeah, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for having me on. I will talk to you later, and hopefully we can do this live stream again. Thanks so much.